man, oh man, oh man. We have a lot to discuss today regarding some tidbits of news regarding Kellen Moore, the free agents for the Philadelphia Eagles. Some comments from players that were actually really interesting. Want to go over a few things here. I know people are going to tell me, Joe, it hasn't even been like 3 days, but this train keeps moving. I'm getting more excited about what's to come this next offseason in 2025 for the Philadelphia Eagles, and a lot to discuss here. So let's get into it.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
I know. People are going to tell me to relax. People are going to tell me, Joe, it hasn't been a certain amount of time, and I perfectly get it. I get it. Trust me. Okay. But obviously, there's going to be news, going to be things that comes out that we definitely have to talk about regarding the Philadelphia Eagles going into the 25 offseason, okay, which I can't believe I'm saying that as of right now. I just can't believe we just won, and here we are talking about more offseason stuff. But like I said, this news keeps rolling throughout the entire year. The first thing I kind of want to go over here are, Nick Sirianni and his comments on Kellen Moore. Okay, this was when he was accepting the Super Bowl trophy. If you guys heard on TV, if you guys watched afterwards, he said, quote unquote, "Let's run this shit back, Kellen." Calling out Kellen Moore, saying, "Let's run this one more time." Now, the night before the Super Bowl, the night right before the Super Bowl, there was news that did come out that Kellen Moore will be taking the job. It will be announced after the Super Bowl. And so far, I haven't heard nothing on Kellen Moore taking this job for the New Orleans Saints as the head coach. We're going to find out soon, probably faster than we realize, because, all these teams are going to want to get their coaching staffs together and get ready for some free agency in March. So we will get our answer. And honestly, from the game that was called in the Super Bowl, I hope he comes back. It'd be great. I'd rather Hurts not go through another year with a different coordinator. And look, I'll give Kellen Moore another year to say, let's try to run this thing again, and then call it a deal afterwards. So because you won it, you kind of want to keep the pack together when it comes down to the coaching, and I think that's really important. So we'll see what happens with this going down the line. But Kellen Moore, haven't heard anything yet. Haven't heard anything official yet, but we'll see how it goes in the meantime with Kellen Moore. Okay, now, Nick Sirianni, obviously his contract is going to be up with the Philadelphia Eagles with Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman will obviously be here, and we know Nick Sirianni's not going anywhere. But from Adam Schefter, that was on the Pat McAfee show. Sorry, that it looks like annually the new contract for Nick Sirianni will be probably the most that anyone gets paid annually. Ben Johnson, I think, is the highest paid head coach right now. It looks like Nick will be getting a bump up raise in this next, probably most likely 4-year contract for Nick. The one thing I really do have to respect Nick, and trust me, there's a lot of things. Obviously, the downfall made us hate a lot of things about this team involving maybe specific players, specific coaches. And obviously, Nick was a guy that I really wasn't a fan of at the end of 23 and how he just kind of, didn't really do much around this roster after this downfall, and didn't give the play calling to somebody. We just went on this course, and I don't know why we were just allowed ourselves to go on this course. Okay, left a bad taste in my mouth at the end of 23, and obviously going to this season, I didn't want to hear him the beginning of last off season, and like I said, in 2024, this past year that we just played. But I got to say, man, getting this team mentally prepared. He's been fantastic at that. Getting these guys mentally right every single week, coming off a loss, coming off a win, coming off of, not getting too high, not getting too low, just staying very neutral, keeping your emotions intact. And I think he's done a hell of a job, man. We might have, the only issues we probably have had with Nick was getting too involved in the playbook and game planning too much. And realistically, guys, I think we have to say it because it's probably the truth at this point, is that this is Nick's offense, realistically. Okay. This is Nick's offense with Kellen Moore flavor attached to it. And that's what it is. But you have a quarterback that's not turning the football over. You have a quarterback that's being smart with the football. You know what I mean? And you have a run game in Philadelphia that could go for another big year next year. Okay. That helps tremendously. It's vice versa between quarterback, running back, offensive line without each other. None of this is going to work, but the coaching has got to stay intact and it's got to be really important. Another coordinator for Jalen Hurts, another different coordinator, more new terminology. I mean, who really wants to go through that? Like I said, I've almost accepted the fact that it could happen, but we'll see how it goes. But Nick has been phenomenal in his ways and, definitely deserves it, no doubt. Okay. Now, okay, we obviously have the Eagles have some free agents here. Okay. And some big ones to name here. Obviously, Zach Bond, Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, Brandon Graham, Mekhi Becton, Isaiah Rodgers. Really, those are your big ones right now. Okay. We did hear from Brandon Graham after the game, okay, so we were really glad that Brandon Graham actually returned to the game. He did say he's not going to think about it right now, but we heard that this was his last game, but potentially it might not be his last game. He might actually give this another go next year, and honestly, for back end rotation, he would have had a sack in this game. He got held on that one play. He would have had a sack on Mahomes. He was right next to him, couldn't even get both his arms out. He was getting held all day. But really glad he played in this game. Coming off his torn tricep is nothing compared to any type of other injury. That's a light work injury. And he was able to come back and surprise all of us, and he did. And it looks like if he's not going to return to the Eagles next year, if they don't want him, if he doesn't get the call, he says, I'm just going to enjoy this one. Who knows how he might call me. If it is my last one, hell of a way to go out. I feel thankful. I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to be a part of this organization. Okay. So I have no issue with Brandon Graham coming back for one more year to really do another go at this again, being back-end rotational depth, and that's not a bad thing. It's good to have depth and very good depth as a veteran like Brandon Graham. He's one of 4 Eagles left from the 2017 roster. I think it's Lane Johnson, BG, Jake Elliott, Lovato, the long snapper. I mean, I don't even know who else is on this roster from the 17 roster. I'm not really sure. I think that's really it at this point. For one of very few Eagles to win, 2 rings in 7 years, that's a really great accomplishment. And like I said, I am all open for Brandon Graham coming back because it's not just his play, it's his attitude and his mentorship, what he's meant to Nolan Smith and some of these other defensive linemen, okay? Another one, so he could potentially come back. We did hear from Slay that he would like to come back with the Eagles for one more year. Depending with the Isaiah Rodgers situation, with him becoming a free agent, how much is it going to cost? We'll see with the Slay Rodgers situation, Quinyon Mitchell being the number 1 next year, or will he go back to the number 2? I don't know, obviously. So we'll see what happens with that. And we have more news on, obviously, Josh Sweat now. The Eagles, I thought we were going to lose Josh Sweat going into this season because, they restructured his contract. It looked like that Sweat was going to be gone. They restructured him. So he got 14 million fully guaranteed for the 2024 season. Okay. But this is a big time free agent. Josh Sweat probably had his best game in the Super Bowl. I mean, 2.5 sacks, 4 to 6 tackles. I mean, just a fantastic game. So this is what Josh Sweat had to say. He said, money's important, sure, but I want to be in the right situation. I don't know what it looks like for me now, but I'm happy. Okay. Guys that are fulfilled, that are satisfied. Okay. Because Milton Williams and Josh Sweat had a fantastic game. I said, pay these guys, not the Eagles, but somebody's going to pay them. Okay. Josh Sweat, I honestly don't think. I wonder if the Eagles have some type of idea to bring one of these guys back, whether it's Milt or it's Josh Sweat. I'm not really sure, but sometimes you got to let guys go like this. They're fulfilled. They got their Super Bowl. They go off somewhere else. And I got to really praise Josh Sweat because there are guys that just want to get their money. They don't care what team they go to. I mean, they want to win, but sometimes you can't have both. You're either going to get paid a lot of money from the teams that give you the most money are probably the worst teams that you're going to be put on. Okay, and that's just the truth to it all. Because being around the Eagles and the unity, no Eagles player that leaves in free agency is going to get it this good like they've gotten it with the camaraderie and just the winning culture. And a lot of teams don't have that. A lot of teams are in the middle of a lot of things right now. And Josh Sweat is trying to take his time and saying, like, I got to be smart with this decision. The money's important, but it's got to be the right situation. And I just don't think the Eagles are. I just don't see it happening. As much as I would love to sign one of the two of them, especially Milton Williams, because Jordan Davis is up for a contract, probably won't be as much. Moro Ojomo has played really well at that DT spot, could move up to Milton Williams' role. We'll see how that goes. And obviously the Eagles can add more depth regardless through free agency. That won't cost much, or the draft going down the line. Remember, Milton Williams was a third-round pick. Josh Sweat was a third, I think. I think I'm right. Or a fourth round pick, I should probably say, from Florida State. I should probably say that. Probably more right about that one. So like I said, there's a lot on the line here when it comes to free agents leaving, and some guys are never going to have it this good. When you leave a team that's just winning a Super Bowl, but not even just that, but this team's been good the last few years. Finally got over the hump this year, and did our thing. And Josh Sweat will probably be sorely missed here. So, like I said, we still have a little bit to go. We'll enjoy the Super Bowl win. We'll see what happens here. But I think that's going to be really interesting down the line when it comes to these free agents. Obviously, Mekhi Becton is a big one for the Eagles. Lane Johnson looks like he's not retiring. So I can't see Mekhi Becton signing anywhere else. I really do. At this point, he's 25 years old with the Jets as a first-round pick. Just couldn't, he was either hurt or he was just not having a good relationship with the Jets, just really not panning out with them and how they were using him. We know the Jets are cursed anyway, so we'll see a re-sign there. The most important one of the bunch on this list is the number one name at the top of it. It is Zach Baun. Zach Baun has made All-Pro. Zach Baun has was fifth in line for Defensive Player of the Year, which is absolutely ridiculous, was totally snubbed, and he had a pick in this Super Bowl, and now he's a Super Bowl champion. So this guy's just getting more expensive every game that passed by. Just got more expensive. So, as this is Vic Fangio's creation of a player that is all his, obviously Zach Baun is very thankful for what really Fangio. I mean, Zach Baun was a role player for the Saints as a backup outside linebacker. That was an edge rusher turned to an outside linebacker that really wasn't liking football at the end of his tenure with the Saints. Was not liking football at all. Was not loving it at all. I mean, with the story I heard last week where, Baun used to cry, was crying at the end of the season after games, like he just wanted to do a lot better for himself. He really wasn't given that big opportunity, and the Eagles gave it to him, and Fangio saw something in him. Zach Baun is the number one signing of the Eagles offseason for free agents, okay? Because you're not going to have Nakobe Dean till October. Later this season of the new season in 25, okay? Ben Van Sermon's coming off a knee injury. We don't know how he's going to be, okay? So you got a couple serious injuries, couple serious knee injuries, for some of the guys, and obviously you have Jeremiah Trotter Jr. there as well. Zach Baun is a must number one. I think we all know this as of right now. So, other than that, guys, that's pretty much it, okay? We're going to enjoy, obviously, the Super Bowl win, but obviously there are updates on the Eagles, and free agency is going to be looming. After the next couple of weeks, free agency is going to come, and the Eagles free agency is going to be a lot of re-signs. And we'll see how he picks and chooses. We're waiting on extensions. We'll see what the coaching staff situation is, the Kellen Moore situation. You guys let me know. Who is your number one priority free agent signing? You guys let me know in the comment section below. And I hope you guys enjoy and keep that smile on your face all week because the Eagles are Super Bowl champions and we're ready to go. And, we have a lot more to look forward to if we want to repeat and do some more things. So I will be on it every day. You guys enjoy the rest of it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day. And make sure you like the video because it helps out tremendously. And I will see you guys on the next one. Shakes what up. Follow slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.